Tonight, case numbers rise in Broken Hill as the city faces a rising challenge. And Port Augusta residents urged to stop illegally dumping rubbish in the city.
From our 7 Spencer Golf Studios, your nightly news with John Hunt begins now.
Good evening. First this Tuesday, hundreds of Broken Hill locals have been tested and are isolating as the city faces its toughest COVID challenge. A handful of new exposure sites identified as more cases were recorded in the Silver City today.
Testing clinics swamped across Broken Hill for a second day. Locals taking no chances with the virus in our backyard.
The increase in cases in Broken Hill is of concern because it shows COVID-19 clusters are no longer concentrated in one specific area.
To 8 p.m. last night, there were 2 new infections in Broken Hill, another 2 in Wilcannia. Following a record 6 cases yesterday, there is this warning.
We believe that a number of the new cases in Broken Hill were active in the community during the infectious period.
The reject shop is the main venue of concern. Staff present during these times must get tested and isolate for 14 days since they were there. The New South Wales Health website showing others in attendance must get tested and isolate until they receive a negative result. Lindsay's Auto and Essentials and Sunbeam Deli also considered casual contact sites.
For me, I popped into the reject shop on Saturday to pick up my cleaning products, and so I'm out in the line getting tested and will be isolating as required.
The testing clinic on Crystal Lane reopened today to deal with demand. And while the focus in the far west has shifted towards Broken Hill, it's understood Health Minister Brad Hazzard was in Wilcannia today, where the situation is improving. 34 cases across the district have now recovered.
It's a pretty tough time for everyone. I know as a community we will get through this together.
Lachlan Itter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Port Augusta residents are being urged to stop illegally dumping waste around the city as the problem continues to grow. A local group is holding a clean-up this weekend, calling on local council and businesses to help them.
Left to clean up the mess, Port Augusta community members fed up with the amount of rubbish being left on the outskirts of the town. They say they're facing an uphill battle to clear the mountains of garbage at the illegal dumping sites.
The local community have been busting their guts to try and get something done with council, but the same old story is that council doesn't own the land, so therefore council won't do anything, and the owners of the land won't do anything because they say it's not their rubbish.
To combat the issue, the group will assess the illegal dumping sites and begin to clean up this Saturday. Organisers say while they have volunteers, skip bins and equipment are desperately needed to help them remove bigger items.
Heavy stuff that we can't lift, and we need at least a bobcat or pony load to do the heavy stuff, and we can't get it.
The group calling on community, local government and Port Augusta businesses to work together to help protect the environment they all depend upon. Warning, local marine life is also under threat.
This blows straight into the Gulf. The Gulf is just there, and this is all going that way with this wind.
Illegal dumping is a significant issue in Port Augusta and it's quite complex. It needs a collaborative approach with community, landowners, council and government organisations.
Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Car industry bodies have welcomed the state government's proposal for an electric vehicle subsidy to encourage its uptake. The RAA says placement of fast chargers is now key to encourage regional drivers to consider an EV as their next car.
Industry leaders call it a step in the right direction. The RAA, along with the Federal Chamber of Automotive Industries and Business SA, welcoming state government plans for an electric vehicle incentive.
The reality is that these aren't the expensive ones, the really expensive ones. They have to be below the luxury car tax threshold of $68,700.
Car buyers will be given $3,000 up front, encouraging them to go electric. A proposed EV road user charge also delayed until 2027. In a statement, Treasurer Rob Lucas says it's vital all road users contribute to the upkeep of public roads, regardless of what kind of vehicle they drive.
And we're starting to see EVs now coming to market, in the mid-40s. So yeah, it's a way of incentivising the uptake.
For those living in the Spencer Gulf, vehicle range remains a major issue, with regional drivers covering longer distances. The RAA says fast chargers are soon expected to be on our main roads, at locations like service stations and parks.
There'll also be not quite as fast chargers placed in areas like supermarkets where they might be there for an hour or two shopping. And then there'll be even slower chargers that'll be made available to accommodation.
It's expected vehicle range will increase once technology improves. Mark Zeta, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
3 people have been arrested after allegedly attempting to use a bow and arrow to shoot drugs into Port Augusta prison. At about 5:30 p.m. yesterday, police attended the prison after reports a grey Mazda sedan was behaving suspiciously. Police arresting 3 men as one man exited the car with a bow and arrow, allegedly attempting to shoot a package into the prison. They were all refused police bail last night. Still to come tonight, new figures reveal the bad behaviour of drivers on our local highways, and an Eyre Peninsula doctor recognised for his work. Welcome back. 2 local teenagers were arrested and will face court after police recovered a stolen ute in Port Lincoln on Saturday night. It was taken from a property at Stephen Street. Police were able to locate the vehicle a short time later on York Street. They arrested a 14-year-old boy and a 16-year-old girl, both from Port Lincoln, in relation to the theft. The 2 youths will appear in the Port Lincoln Youth Court at a later date. More than $200,000 worth of fines have been paid by drivers who have been caught by police in the past 2 months. The new statistics from SAPOL show a high number of what officers describe as unacceptable road behaviour. More than 740 vehicles were impounded for a range of offences, including driving whilst disqualified, DUI and unlicensed driving. 5 vehicles have already been crushed by police. 235 vehicles were returned after payment. With Rural Road Safety Month now underway, a new report has detailed the dangers facing drivers on South Australia's regional roads. The research revealing a number of high-risk roads are used by 91% of South Australians at least once a year.
They are vital transport routes but carry greater risk for commuters travelling outside of Adelaide. A new report from the Australian Road Safety Foundation is exploring the increased risks drivers are taking. 2 in 3 of all road fatalities have occurred on regional roads.
It's things like not wearing the seatbelt, speeding, being distracted, drink driving. But of course, fatigue is probably one of the larger issues that we've got to try and deal with.
Foundation figures show more than a quarter of the state's drivers utilise regional roads multiple times a week, travelling for work and family reasons.
Yeah, the research also indicated that regional road use will increase by up to 45% this year, with many South Australians planning to take a road trip compared to flying.
Disturbingly, almost 1 in 10 rural road users break rules at least once a week, double the number in urban areas.
I think the regional people are a little bit complacent because of the vast areas that are around them. They don't think that they're going to be in danger.
They say everyone should be aware of the unique challenges country highways pose.
Whether that's animals, long distances between towns, things that you don't find in metro cities.
Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
The first stage of a multi-million-dollar upgrade to Silverton Road has been completed, with promises drivers will enjoy a smoother journey. But questions have been raised over the quality of work, with potholes and bumps in some areas.
Right now, it's a road to nowhere, but when tourists return to Silverton, they'll experience a safer drive.
It's as good as you could ask, a lot better than what the old road used to be.
18 kilometres of the normally busy road widened to the tune of $3.5 million, funded by the state and federal governments.
I'll be celebrating with the community because this is going to be another significant milestone in development of roads in the far west of the state.
The road widened by 1 metre on either side with new signs and guideposts installed. But in most areas, the road doesn't look complete, with obvious joins and potholes between the new and old surface and faded line markings.
We all knew that it was going to be a bit of a patch-up job and would have loved to have seen a full surface across it.
Those issues expected to be fixed early next year when the road is fully resealed.
This happens for many of our road projects across the state. It'll give it time to settle, but once it's been completed in 6 months' time, I'm sure the community will be talking about the difference it's going to make.
Businesses in Silverton hoping the Broken Hill community will hit the road when the lockdown ends.
They'll be itching to come that extra 20 k's to enjoy a nice meal and a cold frothy beer.
Lachlan Itter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
An Eyre Peninsula GP was one of 4 award winners at the recent Royal Australian College of General Practitioners award ceremony. The Streaky Bay-based doctor is also a man of many talents, proving to be handy with the guitar as well.
A man of many talents, this doctor recognised for his contribution to the health of the local community.
Absolutely amazed and stoked to get it, absolutely.
Nathan Lamb is a general practitioner at Streaky Bay Medical Clinic and local hospital. He encourages medical students to put themselves out there, saying working in rural communities helps shape who he is today.
Even if you don't commit to a career doing rural work in the future, it's invaluable experience that's going to make you a better doctor and a better person.
Dr. Lamb is also a passionate musician, with his second album set to be released later in the year. He sees a lot of similarities between medicine and music.
My big passion is music. When I started learning guitar at age 11 or 12, that really changed my life, gave me a lot of confidence.
Maintaining a balance in his life, also important.
We all need to find a way to decompress and stay grounded and not become too consumed by our work.
Dr. Lamb displayed his creativity when he collaborated with a local church in Adelaide, turning an unused hall into a COVID-19 clinic. Around 1,000 patients were assessed during his time there. Dylan Smith, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us. The Wyler Football League's best player officially named. And the first rocket launch on the Eyre Peninsula to be launched this week. Southern Launch is hoping to deploy its first rocket from its Whalers Way site this Thursday, weather depending. The space company has been granted an aquatic activity licence by the Department for Infrastructure and Transport. It means an area of water south of D'Anville Bay and Fishery Bay will be off limits for vessels during launch events. The Whalers Way Orbital Launch Complex will also be closed to the public during the launch window. Turning to sport now, and the best and fairest of the Wyler Football League has been decided at the league's annual count last night. Ruina Bay's Stephen Jackson taking out the prestigious award, with his focus now turning to the grand final in 2 weeks' time.
Wyler's best football player decided by a 4-vote margin.
Well, congratulations, Stephen Jackson.
Stephen Jackson awarded the Jim Hewitson Medal, with the Tiger joining an illustrious honour board.
At the start of the year, you don't really think about this. All you think about is like trying to win the premiership, do the best for the team, and I guess getting this just comes with it, and yeah, honoured and grateful for it.
Last night's event attracting a full house, with players and coaches enjoying the moments and celebrating the end of the regular season. The Wyler Football League's president pleased with the resilience of the teams in overcoming lockdowns and cancellations.
Unfortunately, we had to reduce our numbers because of the COVID thing, but such is life. We all have to suffer a little bit, but otherwise it was great.
Attention now turns to the WFL Grand Final in 2 weeks. Ruina Bay already booked their spots after defeating West Wyler last weekend.
Confident, but it's going to be a tough game wherever we play, whether that's Centrals or West. It's always going to be a tough game, no matter what.
The winner of this weekend's preliminary final will meet them at Bennett Oval the following week.
This Saturday they'll be fighting out who's going to join them, so I'm looking forward to it. Should be a good day.
Mark Zita, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Meanwhile, it was a big weekend of soccer and netball, with one team through to Port Lincoln's netball grand final, while Wireless Soccer's title race will now go down to the final round. Reporter Dylan Smith has this week's sports wrap.
It was perfect weather for netball here in Port Lincoln at the weekend, as teams took to the court for the preliminary finals. It was a one-sided clash between Waybacks and Imperials, with Waybacks winning their way through to the grand final by 24 goals. Michaela Eates was terrific for Waybacks, while Port Lincoln Times medalist Brooke Moore also starred. They'll face Wanilla in the grand final this weekend. In Whyalla, Kiwi booked their place in the decider, thrashing Ravens Netball Club 65-17. In the other semi-final, True Blue Netball edged past YCW. Kiwi and True Blue will meet this weekend to decide who will be crowned champions. While in the Great Flinders Netball Association, Cummins Kapini defeated Elliston Districts by 9 goals. The Cougars winning their way straight through to the grand final in a fortnight's time, while Elliston Districts will meet Ramblers in the preliminary final this weekend. In Port Lincoln soccer, bottom-placed South Coast upset league premiers Raiders to ensure all 4 teams are still in the hunt to reach the season-ending cup final. While the Lincoln Knights all but booked their spot in the final with a 6-0 victory over Secole Masters. Charlie Price and Dan Harders both scored twice for the Knights. In Whyalla, still thwarted Lions' bid to win the league with a 2-2 draw. Lions have the bye in the final week of the season, which means Still can pip them to the title with a win over Croatia. In the other match, Croatia were too strong for Westlands, defeating them 3-1. And finally, in Port Lincoln's squash pennant competition, Hankins Electrical defeated John Payne Painting, while Lincoln Self-Storage had a win over Wilkins Electrical, and PS Electrical had an entertaining win over iHawk Building. And that's all for sport from across the region. If you would like your team's sports results featured, please let us know at our Facebook page.
Stay with us after the break. New figures show a rise in those needing mental health support. And we'll have the weather details with Alex Sykes. Hello again. A new report shows more young rural South Australians have been diagnosed with a probable serious mental illness between 2017 and this year. The Reach Out report shows those aged 18 to 19 are most likely impacted by ill health. There was also a significant increase in the number of rural young people concerned about their future. Mental health literacy within the demographic is also improving, with a greater awareness of services available. And if you or anyone you know needs support, call Lifeline on 13 11 14. Time now to take a look at what's happening in the weather across the Spencer Gulf and Broken Hill. With all the details, it's good evening to Alex Sykes.
Thanks, John, and happy Tuesday, everyone. Well, today was the perfect spring day in most parts of the Gulf. From 3 p.m, Port Augusta was 21, Broken Hill was sunny and 19, and Woodna was mostly sunny and 22 degrees. It was partly cloudy across the rest of the region. Port Lincoln and Whyalla is 16, Port Pirie reached 20. It got to 19 degrees in Cleve and Kadina, and Cooper Pedy reached a sunny 23 degrees. Taking a look at the satellite image now, low cloud over central and southeastern South Australia is thinning out as moist southwesterly winds ease, causing the odd light shower to clear. Clear skies elsewhere due to high pressure and dry winds, leading to cool to mild days and chilly nights. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. Variable winds about 10 knots, seas below 1 metre, and south to southwesterly swells 1 to 1.5 metres. And a short time ago, there was a marine wind warning for South Australia. Sunny conditions for tomorrow. Port Lincoln will reach 23, Cleve 25 and Woodner to top 27. 26 degrees in Whyalla. Port Augusta will be a top of 27 and Kadina will reach 22 degrees. Port Pirie will get to 25. Clare will have morning frost and then sunny 20 degrees and Broken Hill to top 23 degrees. Taking a look further through the week now, those sunny conditions are sticking around on Thursday. A high of 30 degrees in Port Augusta and Woodner. Port Pirie 28, Port Lincoln and Kadina to reach 25 degrees. Whyalla and Cooper Pedy to top 29 and Broken Hill will get to a high of 26. To Friday now and a mainly fine day across the region. Port Lincoln and Adelaide will be mostly sunny and 25 degrees and it will be sunny everywhere else. And a quick look at Saturday's forecast now. Sunny and 29 in Port Augusta and Broken Hill. Cooper Pedy also sunny to reach a high of 32. A possible shower in Port Lincoln and Adelaide 19. Partly cloudy across the rest of the state with temperatures in the mid-20s. So John, the early forecast suggests Saturday night's vital preliminary final could be a little greasy. And that's all the weather from me for tonight. It's back to you.
Not long left for Port fans now. Thanks, Alex. And that's the local news this Tuesday evening. Thanks for joining us. I'll have updates later, and we're back again tomorrow at 7 p.m. Until then, enjoy your evening. Good night.